Hello and welcome to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Glad that you could join us for another segment. In this segment, we're going to be speaking with Mr. Robert Kahl. He's CEO, founder, and president, and Dr. Sunny Colley, co-founder and chief medical officer at CloudDX. They're both joining us here on Health Professional Radio to discuss the recently launched Cloud XR division to deliver the Clinic of the Future augmented reality platform. Welcome to Health Professional Radio, both Robert Kahl and Dr. Sunny Colley. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you, Neil. Glad to be here.
Well, Robert, if you could give us a brief look into your professional background, and Dr. Colley, if you could do the same when Robert concludes.
Absolutely, Neil. Thank you. I am, as you mentioned, the founder of CloudDX. CloudDX is now just over 7 years old. I'm a professional business person and entrepreneur. CloudDX is my sixth startup company, by far the largest and most exciting so far. And so I've been working in the field of virtual care and digital medicine really for nearly 12 years. Along that journey, I met my co-founder, Dr. Sunny Colley, and together in 2014, along with our third co-founder, my brother Anthony Kahl, we founded CloudDX to bring really interesting new innovations to the virtual care ecosystem.
Yeah, on the heels of that, I would say that I still remember the day that I met Rob. I was working as an ICU specialist and an internal medicine specialist in a hospital on the outskirts of Toronto. I'm also faculty at McMaster University, and Rob had known that I was working on an ECG type device. And he separately was working on a device that together could form a formidable duo as a tricorder. And that we decided to joined forces. We became co-founders, and we submitted our tricorder prototype that we called Vitality in the X Prize competition. And if your viewers didn't know, the X Prize is a nonprofit based in California, and its main goal is to incentivize mankind to solve its greatest challenges, healthcare challenges included. And if you recall, the first X Prize was awarded to the first team that could send a spacecraft to low Earth orbit and back twice in 30 days. And Elon Musk and Richard Branson both competed in that prize. And Rob and I, when we formed CloudDX with Tony, we ended up competing, and we were awarded the Bold Epic Innovator Award in that competition.
Great. Congratulations, and quite exciting for sure.
It really was, yeah.
This tricorder technology that won you this X Prize, is it the basis of the Cloud XR division, the Clinic of the Future augmented reality platform?
It is, and the genesis of the extended reality or augmented reality technology that we're currently developing very much extends off of the tricorder that we invented for the X Prize. So we were awarded the Bold Epic Innovator Award in April of 2017. And right around that time, we joined forces with the Center for Mobile Innovation at Sheridan College in Ontario. They were looking for new technologies to build user interfaces for very cutting edge technologies. And so we got together and we were able to bring augmented reality to the data streams that our tricorder creates and produces. And we were able to integrate that into hospital electronic medical record systems for a holistic clinical experience that allows physicians like Sunny to experience the patient's condition and vital signs in a 3D holographic environment that is very much right out of a science fiction movie.
Are we talking virtual reality? Is augmented reality different than virtual reality? Do they go hand in hand?
When you speak to experts in this field, you'll see that there are different terms, and the definitions of those terms are, I think, still evolving to a certain extent. But in general, virtual reality applies to a headset or a set of goggles or some kind of display technology that entirely immerses you in a virtual world. So think about the Oculus headset and the HTC Vive and so on. So in a virtual world, you can't see anything around you that's real. All you're seeing is the virtual experience. Augmented reality refers to technology that overlays digital information on the real world around you. So in this case, we're talking about technology like the HoloLens from Microsoft, which is like a very advanced set of goggles or glasses that you look through that creates the digital world around you, but you can still see the real world as well. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're referring to when we talk about extended reality. it's not just a virtual world, it's a virtual world combined with the real world, which is very exciting.
So how does the clinic of the future help to demonstrate the versatility of this platform?
I'm going to let Sunny answer that.
Oh, certainly. I'm happy to, Rob. So I love the analogy Rob likes to use when we first started conceiving of this concept. He likened it to Minority Report. If you remember that movie, Neil, with Tom Cruise, and there was this virtual world that they would use to analyze people. In that case, it was criminals or citizens in that world that they lived in. So in this case, imagine you go to the doctor, Neil, and the sort of the 20th century paradigm is very similar to what we've been doing for hundreds of years, in that you get interviewed by your doctor. Your doctor may have a paper chart in front of them where they're charting, or an electronic chart, and then they separately take vital signs and do a physical examination. And then separate from that, yet another silo of data that they collected, investigations that they may take from your blood and other bodily fluids and x-rays and imaging. And then they have to put that all together and form a thesis. It's very clunky. It's prone to error. There's multiple different buckets of data coming in multiple different formats. So the brainwave here was, why don't we put it all together and make it so integrated and seamless that the experience makes it easier for the care provider to care for that patient. They don't have to separately leave the room and look at a computer. They don't have to pull out a paper chart. They don't have to separately apply devices to get vital signs. It's all right there. So you have your HoloLens or virtual reality type instrument that allows you to overlay onto that patient, that environment. And then in that environment, you can pull up the vital signs because they're wearing our tricorder device on their chest, and it's automatically sending that data to your lens or your glass. And then you can use voice commands or haptic gestures to pull up data like their laboratory tests, their echocardiogram, their X-ray, their MRI, their CT scan. And it's all happening in real time, Neil. So now you actually have time to sit by that patient's bedside and speak to them, rather than having to scurry out of the room to look at other silos of data. So if that makes any sense to you, it certainly is exciting for me, because it would mean a major improvement in how I see patients and how efficient I could be.
You mentioned an overlay. Is this like a holographic image or something like that?
Yes, that's precisely cool. Imagine the patient sitting in bed, and floating above them is their heart rate, their ECG, their blood pressure, their oxygen levels, their temperature, and then maybe another overlay to the side where there's vital information about them, biostatistical information, their allergies, their medications, some of their past medical history, all of that right there at your fingertips. So you don't need to flip through a chart at all anymore. It's all right there for you to help you in that, making that diagnosis and treating that patient.
Let's continue to describe how it's all set up. So the patient would be wearing the CloudDX Vitality device, which is a chest-mounted, very simple, light chest-mounted device that has ECG leads that attach to the skin, an earpiece that gathers data from the inner ear for temperature and pulse oxygen. It's very comfortable, very lightweight. You almost don't notice you're wearing it. And that is the device that's gathering all the vital signs from the patient. So right there, that's a very futuristic device. It's undergoing clinical studies and clinical trials right now. It's been thoroughly tested in the hospital already. Published papers have been published about its accuracy in detecting blood pressure, for example. So this is proprietary technology that CloudDX has invented that is gathering very accurate vital signs from the patient. It's then integrated into the electronic medical record systems in the hospital. And all that data is sort of, as Sunny says, floating around an image of the patient as windows or tiles that are 3D holograms. When you use the Microsoft HoloLens device, users interact with it in several ways. One way is gestures. So you can reach out and point to or close your fingers around this virtual holographic tile and move it around or open it or close it or expand it and shrink it, all very intuitively just by sort of reaching out and appearing to touch it. Or you can use voice control. So you can command with your voice for things to appear or disappear and for things to open and close. Just as you would imagine a very futuristic environment of holographic, 3D, semi-transparent holograms. Now, I want to point out something else that's very important. The patient may be right in front of the physician or the user. It doesn't have to be a doctor, of course. It can be a doctor, it could be a nurse, it could be a technician. So that patient might be right there in front of you, in which case you're able to interact with all of this information without actually touching the patient, which in the era of COVID-19 and the era of isolation and trying to prevent reinfection is very important. Or alternatively, that patient might be in an entirely different place. It might be in a different city, a different country, outer space. And so what you'll be seeing in the HoloLens is a holographic representation or an avatar of the patient.
Okay.
That avatar will have many attributes that are identical to the patient. So you will be able to see their heart beating in the same exact rate that the patient's heartbeat is beating. You'll see their lungs expanding and contracting in the same exact rate that the patient is breathing. So it's a very interactive experience. And then there's one more important point. This HoloLens solution could be being used by multiple clinicians in multiple places. And so the patient could be in one place, and then you could have 2 or 3 clinicians all in different places, all interacting together in the same virtual world. And that's where we're breaking entirely new ground. It's very, very exciting.
Absolutely. Give us a website where we can learn much more about Vitality.
Our website is www.clouddx.com.
And that is CloudDX, just like it sounds, CLOUDDX.com.
Correct.
Well, Robert, Dr. Cawley, thank you both for joining us here on Health Professional Radio. Very exciting information. I'm hoping to speak with you again as things progress.
Thank you very much, Neil, for giving us a chance to talk about our extended reality division and the new Vitality Tricorder from CloudDX.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Audio copies of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au. You can also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Listen in, download it, SoundCloud, and be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com, Health Professional Radio.